Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, and we are on a rollicking good adventure with Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville, Steve and Karen Wilson, owners of the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, and this is our second adventure since we've been here this summer in Asheville, North Carolina. So Karen, where are we going? Because it feels like we're going on like a little mountain pass.
We are right now working our way to Chimney Rock State Park. It is one of our favorite spots to go hiking. They have ambassador animals to learn about some of the wildlife you will find here. It's just a really, really beautiful spot.
How far is it from the inn?
About a half an hour, so it's a fairly easy, straightforward drive. Little windy, as you see, but that makes part for the fun. Beautiful farms, interesting things to see like horses and cows.
It's pastoral. Like it's interesting compared to the other day when we went on the Blue Ridge Parkway in Pisgah. Is it Pisgah or Pisgah?
Pisgah.
We went to the Pisgah forest.
Yep. So this is definitely a different kind of drive, different scenery. Still nice, easy, short distance from Asheville.
I heard that. So this is in Chimney Rock. There's a town.
Yes, little town, very nice. Some shops, nice little cafes and restaurants, and then a nice winery.
That's where we're going to, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go play with wine. Nancy, are you excited for wine?
Of course. That's how you wake up
with a view.
With a beautiful view.
Excellent. So we made it to our adventure destination, Chimney Rock State Park, in the village of Chimney Rock. Are we in a village?
Yes, so this town down here is called the Village of Chimney Rock.
Okay, so this is Olivia who took us around. She took us up to the top of Chimney Rock. She took us down to Hickory Falls and up again. Mm-hmm. And then back down again.
Yep, all over the place.
Yeah. So Chimney Rock is a state park, but you were telling us originally that it was actually a family's property way back when.
Mm-hmm. So Chimney Rock has quite an interesting history. It was privately owned by the Morse family for over 100 years. Dr. Lucius Morse was the one who kind of had the idea to make this land available to the public after he purchased it in the early 1900s. And he and his two brothers, worked with locals in the area to create trail systems and that kind of thing, and the park did open to the public in 1916, and then it was privately owned and operated for all of the 20th century, and then in the early 2000s the family was looking to go in a different direction and thinking about what they wanted to do moving forward, and they did end up selling the land, but wanting to continue that legacy,
right,
of what, Dr. Morse and the whole family had worked for, they wanted to keep it public. So they did end up selling to the state of North Carolina, who added it to other land they had acquired down in Hickory Gorge to create Chimney Rock State Park.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And so when you think about Chimney Rock, was it 64 floors tall, or how high is Chimney Rock?
It is.
Because there's an elevator, which we
yeah,
all,
right.
Yes.
But the elevator goes up 26 stories.
Okay,
is what we say.
stories.
Yeah.
Okay,
so the chimney itself, there's a couple different things. There's the elevation gain, because from where we are down here near the gate to the top of the chimney is over 1,000 feet in elevation gain. And then Chimney Rock itself, from that parking lot level rises, about 300 feet from the parking lot. So.
Wow. So, and then there's a flag at the very top, which you got up to.
Yes.
And you said that there was a flag there way back when, and you've got to think, here we have elevators, there's the stairs, right?
Right.
Have you guys done the stairs?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We've done it all the way from the bottom down here, all the way up. We've done all trails in one day.
That's because Steve and Karen have stairs in their bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
So they're good at stairs.
practice.
Look at it, 5 floors, right? Is it 1, 2, 3,
No,
4?
we have 3 floors.
3 floors. I'm just counting the rows of steps. I'm like, I've got 1, got 2, got
That's
3.
what you're counting.
Yeah, okay. So but back then there wasn't all those, I mean, they had to make the staircase, they had to, I mean, there was no elevator, so how did that happen?
Right. So, originally, way back when Dr. Morse first came to the area, the only way to reach the top of Chimney Rock was, with donkeys, like in mule trails, and and so, we think of accessibility now in a lot of different ways, but they did want to make it essentially, more accessible to people. And so that's kind of where these networks of stairs came in and the trails came in, and over time, it's only gotten better, and with the recent improvements that the state has made in the last 10 years also, it's more accessible than ever. The stairs are, easier to navigate. They're, give you these great views. And then, of course, the elevator, which was also one of Dr. Morse's dreams, although he did not live to see it open, unfortunately. But he was alive when construction started, but he had passed away by the time it officially opened in 49.
Wow. It's cool because you can see the motor, like the, whatever you call it, the thing. That
engine.
The original motor for it. Yeah, technically it's called like a gearless traction machine, but who knows what that is. We just call it the elevator motor.
It's interesting.
Yeah, well, it looks like crap. But what I really loved about when you're up there, you can see, like we were saying, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you have that one, diagram that you can see all the different mountains, which kind of gives you a sense of place. But you've got the lake. Is the lake below us? What's it called? Lake
Lure. Yes.
Lake Lure,
yeah.
And then all the turkey vultures.
Yes, yeah.
That was cool. That was cool up there.
It is cool to see, everything kind of laid out below you.
Yeah, and have they
from
gone
that
around.
height. Yeah,
but the rocks, to me, you were saying when we went on the Hickory Falls trail, and that was what, 3/4 of a mile there?
Yeah, it's 3/4 of a mile out and back. So it's a mile and a half total.
It's just not that bad.
Nancy might tell you otherwise.
Yeah, she's got the trick knee, so
because you just have to concentrate.
Because she's more than a one-trick pony. But anyway,
what kind of interview is this?
I don't know. But anyway, no. But you were showing us some of the rocks there and how the rocks split from freezing, and that's way back when, like.
Yes, yeah. So we actually didn't end up seeing it, but we do have a little cave up there called Nice Cave, and it is a fissure cave. And what that means is it was formed similarly to all those, rock piles and things, which means, instead of a cave that is formed through erosion, a fissure cave is formed when part of the rock, the mountain like slides off and creates like a structure that way. And so, that is how, a lot of the rock formations and stuff around here were formed. You have these huge sheer cliffs that are pretty unique in this area to Hickory Neck Gorge.
Yeah.
You don't get that everywhere in the Blue Ridge. And a lot of those, cliff faces were formed by rock fall and erosion. And one of the most common types of erosion we have in that area along that trail is freeze thaw, where in the winter water will get down into, cracks and fissures in the rock and will freeze. And then when spring thaw comes, the ice disappears and then parts of the rock kind of slough off.
It's cool.
And create the, we do have small rock fall today, but those huge pieces, those have been formed over, hundreds of thousands, millions of years.
It's neat, man. I know, because you've got some of the ferns that I was seeing in, like, deep in the woods area. I'm like, definitely dinosaur grass. Dinosaur grass. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we always look at. Nancy's like, we're walking on a dinosaur now. I know, that's easier. But it's cool because the vegetation is really neat. We saw little mushrooms, orange. I mean, those are crazy little mushrooms, and then all kinds of fungus and all kinds of little. It's one of those trails. Keep your eyes out. Don't just rush through it.
Absolutely. And everything here is so green, especially this time of year. That when we do get those like fungi or sometimes it's wildflowers or whatever that stand out against the green, it's wild.
So this is what the tail end of summer, and it was a nice day today. Beautiful. We get to the waterfall. It feels nice and cool, and what was really cool about the waterfall was the waterfall, right? But we all know I saw a 3-headed snake. No. We didn't. But we saw 3 queens, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 queen snakes. Yeah, lounging, in the sun at the base of the waterfall.
That was cool. And then you saw a northern one, right, too? A northern water snake?
Yeah, northern water snake. Those are the 2 species of water snakes we have in the park. And yeah, you can often spot them down there at the base of the falls. They like to hang out there.
That was really cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Let's talk a little bit, because you've got, obviously people want to go to the top of Chimney Rock and get those views, but that's one of many trails. You've got
Yes.
like a whole network going on.
Yeah, we have 6 trails, 2 of which we've discussed. The Hickory Nut Falls Trail, which is that moderate 3/4 of a mile that takes you to the base of Hickory Nut Falls, and then the Outcroppings Trail, which we alluded to, and that's your network of 500 stairs taking you to the top of Chimney Rock. We have 4 trails besides those. 2 that go above the chimney, one that goes to Exclamation Point, that is just called Exclamation Point Trail. And then, that gives you a really neat view of the opposite direction. So instead of looking at the lake, you're looking back up the gorge. And then from there, the Skyline Trail, which is our newest trail, it was just opened in 2017. And that takes you to the top of Hickory Nut Falls. So you're kind of, you're at the headwaters and you can see, where it goes over the cliff, which is pretty cool.
What hikes have you both done?
We've done them all.
Oh, that's right.
We did them all in one day. We did them with the dogs in one day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
We're
amazing.
doing that Chimney Rock
Challenge.
Challenge.
Yes.
Hiking challenge.
The badges you got for doing the trails.
Yes. You got your, which one? The Black Bear one is all
The top
6?
one, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think the Bobcat.
Or I think it was the Bobcat.
That was
It was a Bobcat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was back during 2020 when we were trying to encourage people to get on the trails, and also after the initial COVID shutdown, when we reopened, it was still pretty minimal. It was hike and access only.
Yeah.
So we do have a trail, the Four Seasons, that connects that lower parking lot, like where the Discovery Den is, with the upper parking lot. You can hike that way. So, we were encouraging people to hike in, just to stay as distance as possible.
Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of people realized how important walking and getting out in nature is during COVID. So
Absolutely.
parks, I know parks have been overrun. Are there good times to come here? Because it's so beautiful, and I know that there's holiday weekends. Obviously, it can be busy, but any suggestions for people to have the best experience is to go when you're not, overrun.
Absolutely.
It's better for nature too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the park in winter. That's certainly our slowest time, kind of after daylight savings ends, and before it begins again. That is our quietest time of the year. From December to March, actually, our rates come down, so it's much less expensive to come to the park, and you do kind of get a unique experience compared to coming other times of year. Of course, the fall is gorgeous, the spring is gorgeous, and the reality is summer's busy because that's when people have time to travel, which of course is wonderful, and I do love the summer here, but we always recommend if you are coming during a busier time, like come early. The park opens at 8:30, and getting here right at 8:30 and then doing your hikes and whatever, you can get in and out by noon and certainly miss the crowds or whatever.
Okay.
And it's in the early morning, it's quieter, you're more likely to experience wildlife. It is cooler if you're coming in the summer. So I do, if you're a birder, if you're any of that, coming in the morning,
that's the
especially
animals.
is great.
In midday, animals are like, I'm going siesta time.
It's too hot. Yeah, it's too hot for them. And often, with the traffic of people in and out of the park, they go off and do their own thing. But yeah, also, if you come later in the day, that can be nice too. Sort of our busiest time is from 11 to 2. So, before or after that, you're more likely to have some spots to yourself.
Cool. Karen, you were saying earlier about fall and how people come to Asheville and the Blue Ridge Mountains, Smoky Mountains Park area in the fall is a huge thing, but people are not timing it. People are coming and thinking this is the only time you can see it.
Mid-October.
So what are your experiences?
Anytime from the end of September through early to mid-November. It goes according to elevation. Chimney Rock is always our last one.
Okay.
So it changes even after us in Asheville. Normally we change around Halloween, the last week of October. So Chimney Rock is slightly after that. So it's not over yet. Everybody thinks it's over, and they're missing out on some beautiful things.
Oh, wow. Wow. So end of October, early November for you guys here?
Yes, yeah. And, a lot of it depends on what happens in September. Like,
Right.
if we have a very rainy September, it can delay it. If you have a hot September, But, last year our peak, I would say, was maybe November 10th. So pretty late down here. We had gorgeous color almost to Thanksgiving, even down here. But starting the first week of October, we put a fall color report up on our website every week.
Tell everybody the website.
Yeah, so our website is chimneyrockpark.com.
Okay.
And on there, you can find all kinds of, breakdowns of all the trails, maps, places to stay in the area, things like that. We have a page that's always updating called What's in Bloom, so you can see the wildflowers that are blooming. Yeah. And then in the fall, we do add the fall color report, so that you can have the latest info on.
I want to come here every season because it just like has that magical thing. And you were talking about What's in Bloom. We went to your pollinator garden, which is so cool that you have that in a Monarch Way station. So right now we're at the end of August, going into September. You are also in the migratory bird. You're on the butterfly path, right, for the monarchs, and then also for birds. And so this is a good time to come out just for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have two kind of like shoulder seasons, in spring and in late summer, early fall, that are also really great times to cut. March, April, you do see a lot of amazing, wildflowers. And then in late August and September, things are quieter in the park. Kids have gone back to school and everything, but it is a really exciting time, ecologically in the park. We do have migrating monarch butterflies that come through here. And yeah, as you said, we have a pollinator garden that is, considered a Monarch Way station. We have their host plant milkweed there. And so that kind of, it follows the same life cycle as them. In the spring, it feeds, the caterpillars and everything. And now we're sort of at the end where some of the plants are, all the plants have been eaten.
Chewed up and spit out.
Everyone has come out of the cocoon. But yeah, and then as you mentioned, we are on the North Carolina birding trail, and we do have quite a few species of migrating birds come through here in September. In other times, but September is the biggest time as they make their way south.
And you have an event. Everyone's going to flock to the rock.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Flock to the Rock is our biggest birding event of the year. It's one of our biggest events, period. And this is our 14th year doing it. September 17th and 18th.
2022.
Yeah, 2022.
This a year from now. You never know, right?
Yeah. If you're listening to this in 2023, go to our website and look at the events calendar for the day. But yeah, and we do have lots of different birding activities, just your classic bird watching hikes and things like that. But we do a species count of migrating species coming through. And we have some of our raptor animal ambassadors come, and we have another group that brings some of their ambassadors. So it's really cool, whether you're an experienced birder or you don't know anything about it. Like, it's a neat event to learn.
It looks like you guys have cool events like yoga, and then I was seeing like night walks. I want to do the park at night. I think there's the one thing, parks at night are a whole other thing, and photography and all kinds of stuff going on. So I think that's neat for people. I wanted to go back to the animal discovery den because we got to meet Pumpkin, and we met some snakes and turtles, and but the pumpkin it was a woodchuck. No.
Yes, a woodchuck.
It is a woodchuck.
Yeah,
but it's not a marmot, as I learned. It will not be a marmot. But these animals. So tell everybody these are all kind of rescue animals, right? That can't get released back into the wild.
Yes. Yeah. So we do have live animals. That some who live at the park, some like our birds. They live off site, but they are educational animals that are cared for by park staff. And we do have, a team of naturalists that cares for them and uses them in educational programming. And all of them are non-releasable. So for whatever reason, sometimes because, like Pumpkin, they have had a disease or an injury, an illness, something that prevents them from being able to survive in the wild, even after rehabilitation. Sometimes because they are, a result of captive breeding, or, they were raised by humans and became dependent on humans. So, yes, like in Pumpkin's case, he came from New York. He came from the Hamptons. He's very fancy. Yes.
It's almost his season.
Yeah. And they have a particular parasite up there. We actually don't have it in the southeast, but it is very common in the northeast. And it gets into the brains of groundhogs, woodchucks. And it does cause brain damage, and it can eventually kill them. But if they do, catch it in time, they can kill the parasite and get rid of that. But they can't undo what's been done, the damage that's been done. And so he can't, survive on his own. So he does, teach programs here and lives here and gets a lot of love. But the reason that we think it is valuable to to teach with live animals, one, these animals need a place to go. Now they can't go back to the wild, but also because it does help people form that connection, a deeper connection.
Because I know people don't want woodchucks in their property. They don't want possums.
Right.
I know you have a possum, and they get scared of snakes.
Yeah.
And that's, and sometimes they kill them, and they're all part of the universe, they're part of how ecosystems work. So do you get school groups and special groups that come that want to learn about snakes and flowers and birds and things?
Yes, we do have school groups who come throughout the year, and also we have some bigger programs like our Earth Day programs in the spring, Harvest Days in the fall, that do encourage that attendance from schools. And yes, again, obviously animals make an impact with people of all ages, but especially kids, and like Emily, who's our director and also one of our naturalists, she'll see kids in the grocery store and like, they don't know who she is, but they're like, oh, you're the possum lady. And they'll remember, they'll write us letters, and remember the animals' names, they don't remember anything else. But they're like, I love, Aussie the possum. She's so cute. It's so sad that she can't see, but I'm so glad you take care of her. They really do remember. And, it changes people's minds and perspectives on some of those critters, like snakes. We have a lot of kids who that's their first time they've ever seen a snake up close or touched a snake. And, that's huge. But then also, just like our habits. So we do have 5 birds of prey that we use to teach, and they don't live on site at the park, but they are part of our ambassador program, and all 5 of them were hit by cars. And so and so they did go to different rehab centers, but because of their various injuries, they were not able to pass a live hunt test. Some of them can't fly, so they can't be returned to the wild. And so, people get surprised, they're like, how are these birds hit by cars? But, it's food waste being thrown out of your window, and like a lot of people, and like before I worked here, like I don't know anything about it, I thought, an apple core, banana peel, like sure, just throw it out the window, it'll just biodegrade. But, it does attract rodents and things to the roadsides, which then attracts birds of prey. And so, that was something I hadn't.
That's a good point. It's like oranges. Everybody thinks, but orange peels are one of the worst things. They don't degrade. It's like cigarette butts and orange peel. Don't do it. So we are little piggies. We've got I think piggies are cool, but we are. We've got. I don't understand the litter problem. I mean, we travel full time, and the amount of litter, that's crazy, is mind blowing. It is absolutely. It's terrible, and it's a situation. And when you think about why these animals, some of the diseases come from it, and then we're like, oh, let's feed these animals. Like, don't feed animals in the park. Don't feed ducks bread. Don't you're hurting them. So
absolutely, and education, is a huge part of our what we do, and the animals certainly help with that. And like you said, it does help foster that connection of like, it helps you connect the dots of like, oh, why shouldn't I throw this out the window? Well, that's how Ghost the hawk broke her wing. Now she can't fly, so it's.
I don't want to be the one who does that.
Yeah, I don't want to be the person that,
One other thing too is you were talking about some, obviously, we have, micro systems, ecosystems. So you were talking about, endemic species that you have here, which it's important for people to understand, because if you take out one plant, it will kill that one species, that kind of thing. So you have your own salamander. I know, Steve. You want to find a salamander.
Yes.
You'll be back here and back here and back here.
Yeah, in this area, so Hickory Nut Gorge is like their habitat. But yes, there was a new salamander species discovered down here called the Hickory Nut Gorge green salamander. You can Google it, and
That
you can
is
find it.
a
They're very
long
cool.
name.
Yeah,
That's a long
Hickory
name.
Nut
It is.
Gorge green salamander, and they are really cool. And yes, they are endemic to this area specifically. And like you said, there's a lot of, the park is a very biodiverse place. This whole little area is, and there are quite a few species that are very localized to here. So yes, it is important to preserve that, and that is why the state and so many conservation organizations, everything, are interested in land down here and preserving those ecosystems.
See, this is cool, man. Everyone's going to come to Appalachia.
Yeah.
We know how to say it now.
Yeah.
Someone will throw an apple at you, but don't do it on the roadway. Don't do it in the roadway. Well, this is cool because it's only, 30 minutes from Asheville, where you guys are, with the Lion and the Rose. Bed and Breakfast, got to give a shout out there. So it's a beautiful drive through. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is. It's a good drive.
But, it's really cool because Nancy and I aren't driving right now. So apparently we get to go have wine. We did walking. So now we get whining. Is that where we're off to next?
That'll be, that's the plan.
Or the Flower Bridge. Should we want to do first?
We can do the Flower Bridge. We got to go to the Flower Bridge. Because that's going to be interesting. Let's do that. Let's do that, and we can end with some wine and talk about butterflies and flowers and
Cool. Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you for being here. It was great showing you around.
And give everyone the website again.
Yeah, so our website is chimneyrockpark.com, and you can find out tons of information about the park and plan your
Socials
trip
and
that way.
everything from there.
Yeah, our social media, you can get to there from there, and you can find our phone number if you have questions. So
Cool. And don't forget lion-rose.com.
That's right.
Just like I said, she's a beautiful, grand lady, Victorian, but she ain't your grandma's house. Nope. So we have made it back to the Lion and Rose Bed and Breakfast Inn here in Asheville, in the historic Montford district. Montford district. We're in the Pink Lady, and we had a wonderful time after Chimney Rock State Park. We went to, what's the lake name?
Lake Lure,
Lake Lure.
Flowering Bridge.
This is cool. So this was a normal bridge, and then it was done like almost 100 years ago.
Something like that,
It was rebuilt,
It's
and
got
then
really
it had to go
history.
down. And then they decided, like the community, to rebuild the bridge.
Exactly, and make it into this beautiful flowering garden of all these little themes, as you
So
saw.
the old bridge is the flowers, and the new bridge is right next to it.
Yes.
With the highway.
So is that the lake we were walking over, Steve?
It's more of the,
Like a tributary?
It's kind of like, I would say it's only the mouth of the river, but it's hard to say because it's a pretty narrow reservoir. It's just kind of like a river canyon filled up. But yeah, I would say it was more the, still part of the river. I think when you get up, there's a point where there's some buoys, probably to keep boats from going back in there because it's shallow. That would probably be the start of the lake.
And they have wood ducks.
Yep.
Yeah,
you put
we
up a wood
haven't
duck
seen
nest.
the wood ducks, but they're supposed to be there.
We saw monarchs.
Well,
Yep.
I did see one duck.
Yeah, we saw ducks.
We
I
did
saw a
see
couple
ducks,
ducks.
but didn't
Not
see
that
wood
I
ducks.
didn't. There wasn't a wood duck.
Yeah,
But this is like a really, Nancy, I mean, we've been to so many gardens across the
It's
country.
clever.
And as a community garden, I mean, there's a walkway with art. It's just so clever
I think so
and
too.
beautiful. And then there's a doggy area.
Yeah, love the little dog theme area with the little rainbow bridge where people can hang their colors of dogs they lost. It's really sweet.
And then they have like a little shady area where they're sitting, and then they have that topiary that's done out of like pet grass almost. It almost looks like it. But we're going to have to follow up on this story because it's all volunteer. Like all these volunteers
Very
came
cool.
together, and I mean, there's, like I was saying, there's like a little school, like not a school, but what do they call those little libraries? A lending library.
Yeah, exactly.
But the art and just the things for kids to do, and a cell phone tour that we didn't do. What
That's
we need
it.
to do.
We have not done that yet. That
Haven't tried that yet.
But it's a good example of taking something that's almost an eyesore
Yes.
or thought to be by some people an eyesore, and turning it into something everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
Agree.
Because smart.
I agree.
We saw all
Absolutely.
ages there, and kids were busy doing some kind of activity with it. And
Yeah.
it's also part of what I found today, part of the Appalachian mural tour. So this whole region has a mural tour.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna have to look up that. I mean, so
Definitely.
today just led to a whole bunch more adventures. Basically.
Absolutely.
But the flowers and the butterflies and the
Yeah.
bumblebees.
It's
Butterflies are amazing out here.
So I think it's cool
They are.
because people can go and find out what they can grow here.
That's
in this
true.
region, you know. They're also Monarch Way Station.
Yep.
They're also a certified national
Certified,
wildlife habitat, like you guys are here. And you have monarchs, and you had tiger tail butterflies.
Tiger swallowtail.
Yeah, the other day.
Yep.
Cardinals
They're
and
starting to come through.
Yeah, the monarchs are starting to migrate, and tiger swallowtails are starting to die.
that's it. What do they swap out? They're like,
More or
hey,
less.
hi, it was nice to see you.
They're actually bigger here.
Yeah.
Than other states have
Yeah,
been in.
the eastern style ones are
They're
bigger
bigger.
than the ones you find on the west coast.
Yeah.
So what about the
That's
black
I thought.
ones? I thought some of those were morning boats,
black
but I'm
boat?
getting confused with
No, there's
the
like
blue.
3 different types of swallowtails that are black. You got your spice bush, your pipevine, and then ones that are actually called black swallowtails, which are the smallest ones.
Well, I think didn't we see spice?
I think they're
Yeah, there was,
pipelines.
and then some of them are starting to lose their color now because they're definitely at the end of the season.
One thing we saw today twice were anoles.
Yep.
The little green
Yes,
lizards.
yes, the
so-
cute
So
little
we
ones, yeah.
saw them in the garden on
Yep.
the flower bridge, and then we went to the winery, and there was anoles. They want wine.
That's it. They're
That's a big
after the line.
winery with a really
They have
cool
a
view of
touch of
Chimney
class.
Rock. Yeah, they did. They were looking over, going, "I want your wine." So that was Bird Mountain.
Burnt shirt.
Burnt shirt.
Burnt shirt, yeah.
So this is like a second location.
It's the second location. Their first one's in Hendersonville with the vineyard. Yeah. and
Well, I like their Riesling and then their Meritage, and they have a nice rosé.
I like them all.
You always like
I
them all.
know.
I thought they were all good too. I thought, but just there's ones that you just stick up, you know.
Sure,
But
yeah.
the views,
The views are amazing.
you know, to just sit
Definitely.
on that big I mean, it's a huge patio. I know you've sent photos in the fall, and
Oh, the fall is amazing. That's it. You get the view of the Chimney Rock there, and then Hickory Nut Falls to the side. So you got both sides.
so you can see where we walked today.
Exactly. So you can see we went from there to there.
I
Yeah.
It
can
was
feel where
gorgeous.
we want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we deserved our wine, right?
Yep, we earned it.
And then we went across to the brewery.
Yep.
To the Hickory Nut Gorge Brewery. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice on
That
on the
was
river.
That
right
was
on
fun.
the river. I mean,
Beautiful
the beer.
heron.
Now, Steve, you brew beer here for guests. So, how did you rate the beer there?
I would say it's probably maybe a 7 or so. When I had, anyways, it's a little bitter for a red ale, but otherwise it's pretty good.
We had the River Otter. Is this the name?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's
we'll get
right.
beer on the name, the IPA, and it was good. It was it was refreshing. It didn't have like a bittery thing at all.
Yeah.
It was laid back, and then I think their pulled pork. We had the pulled pork nachos.
was
You guys
good.
had
Oh, that
fish
was
and
good.
The
chips.
fish
That was
and chips
really
were very
good.
good.
Yeah.
Damn, that pulled pork.
The chips were really good too.
It was
Oh,
very,
really?
it was tender,
Very good.
really tender.
Yep.
So, but the thing is, you could be right on the river, and we went downstairs, and we saw the great big
The great
heron, the blue
heron.
heron.
Lots
Yep.
of birds everywhere.
I know there was cardinals, and I still don't know if I saw a kingfisher, but I mean he
Might have been.
dived.
Yeah, might
And then
have
there's
been.
all those other
That's
ones
it.
you think are the flycatchers.
Or
Like,
something. Looks like they're flying
yeah, there were a lot of
out.
birds.
Yeah, the way they were flying, they were diving like.
That crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would
Yeah.
want to go there in September. I think the fall colors are slowly creeping in, but they're in the foothills compared to where we were walking.
Yeah.
But I can
Is it-
imagine what it's going to be like. I want to go there in winter.
We have not done winter. That's the only time of year we have not been there yet.
Yeah, the
So we
road
will
can be a
have
little
to-
treacherous, especially going over that pass that we
You have to
went
watch
over where
that
it's
little windy
super
area.
twisty, 35 miles an hour, but you can only do about 30.
It's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
when you're at the winery looking over and being able to see that whole view and seeing Hickory Nut Falls, because you're up close to the falls.
Exactly.
But then when we're stepping away, like you have this whole other view. But we do need to bring this up because we did not talk about this when we were in the state park. That the state park, there were parts of the park in Hickory Nut Falls, right? That
Yes.
was part of the movie The Last Mohicans.
Yes, exactly.
So you too can walk where Daniel Day-Lewis walked.
I did.
Absolutely.
Or ran.
I found the moccasin path.
You did?
Yes.
Yes.
I said,
take
way
your
away
shirt off.
from all the big rocks, and I went right there around the side and walked it back.
She said, Olivia said that Firestarter was also filmed there and some other
Yeah.
In
films.
the Lake Lure area, I think more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Firestarter and then Dirty Dancing.
is
Yeah,
a
Lake
huge one
itself,
for
yeah.
Lake Lure. Yeah.
And they have a festival in September, Dirty Dancing Festival.
Oh, that should
And
be
people
fun to
go and do
watch.
dancing. Seriously, you
That
know.
should be fun.
Well, I remember our band, you know, back in the band days,
Right.
at the end of the night, there was always the squat dance.
The
At the
squat
end of the night,
dancing.
people
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
they could do dirty dancing, and you'd kind of place bets as a band. We'd look at each other.
Guys,
If you
who's
gave
gonna
two looks,
squat
you
dance?
know, that was 20. You got $20 if she was going to be able to get up off the floor.
Right.
So I'm just like, when she told us there was a dirty dancing festival, I'm
We're
just
like,
like,
we gotta go.
It's squat dance land, man. That's you could be placing bets all day.
You know, really, when you think of it, we go, she's going down, she's going down. Nah, she's not coming out. Nah, she's
She
not coming
landed.
out.
She landed.
She landed and she can't get up.
But I mean, today was an amazing adventure. I mean,
was wonderful.
downtown Chimney Rock. I mean, shopping. It's
Cute
cute
village,
and
yeah.
charming. Mountains, and there are mountain men, by the way. Everybody.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people up there.
Yeah, it's cool. But I mean, it's only 30 minutes out of here,
Exactly.
and the easy. I mean, there's some windy roads, so you need to
Yeah.
know that. But it's not like a mountain pass.
No, it's not
You're going
one of
along
those
the
scary,
river.
It's not
Yeah.
one of those scary
No,
ones
it's
where you're
still
looking
easy
down
road.
saying, "Oh my." we're
No,
out."
it's an easy one, and it's just
It's easy
beautiful.
one.
So to me, that's the thing about where you're positioned. You're in this historic village area, and then off you go. You can go to Blue Ridge Parkway. You can go to
Exactly.
Smoky Mountains. You can go to Pisgah Forest. You can go out to Chimney Rock area. So
Exactly.
Asheville's like you kind of land, and then you've got the downtown and the Riverside.
Yeah.
So downtown is different from the Riverside Arts District.
Yes.
Because Nancy and I got lost that one day.
Yeah, I know you did.
What, one day? One day we got lost? What?
One night. It was the GPS, and we didn't listen properly. Or I
Apparently
didn't.
not.
Apparently, but so that's good. So where we go next? We're going to be doing our next adventure is all about Thomas Wolfe and ghosts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay
Cool.
tuned for that. Everyone, lion-rose.com is the website, and also follow them on the Instagram and Facebook. They're always posting wild adventures. After all, Steve and Karen, Mr. and Mrs. Wild.
Yeah.
It's either music
Yep.
or nature.
Yeah, we're still on our world tour. Just about every week we're going to a show.
I know, you guys. You guys are out, Well, Asheville, that's the thing too. Asheville, you're so close. Not only just people coming here, but
Right.
close vicinity to other concerts.
Absolutely. And we do have a pretty good music scene here. Still,
The Orange Peel, right?
Orange
Peel,
Peel
yeah.
is a great place.
And the Moog Museum and vinyl
Museum.
stores,
And we
still
vinyl
haven't done
pressing.
Citizen
Yeah,
vinyl.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We
We got
have
a
to
few
do the
cool,
big- we
really
haven't
cool
done that.
spots.
Well, we got.
Scratch
We're coming back in
We're gonna have
December.
to come back.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.